So if you guys live in Canada, you guys probably heard about TFSA, RRSP, and FHSA. But how do you figure out which account you have to invest first? So in this video, we will help you figure that out. So let's get started. Hi guys, I'm Harji. I help buy smart, sell right, and build your dream home in Canada. So TFSA versus RRSP and FHSA, which comes first? Well, choosing the right savings account can significantly impact your financial future, So which is why I have created this quick presentation which might help you figure out which ones you should invest first. So the first thing is, if you're working for an employer who does RRSP matching, so the first thing you should do is match your RRSP, because the moment you put money into RRSP, the best thing that's going to happen is your RRSP gets 100% return right away. So that's the first thing you should do. And then the second thing, if you're wanting to buy your first home in next year, 2 years, 3 years from now, you should look into putting that money into FHSA. We will go in detail in next, how that works. And then after that, if your overall income is less than $50,000, then maybe you should look into putting money into TFSA. If you make more than $50,000 a year, then maybe look into putting that money into RRSP to lower your tax bracket. And then, but if you're looking to invest money short term and have more flexibility about when you can use that money, maybe then look into putting that money into TFSA. So now let's move on to first home savings account. Why it matters? Because it is best for first time home buyers. Why? Because any money that you put into FHSA, you do not have to repay it back like home buyers plan. And also for most first time home buyers, it is easing financial stress for them. And it also offers tax advantages tailored for first time home buyers, which is why it is making out to be a superior option than putting money into RRSP. And then, so the government started that project last year in 2024, and the purpose of that was to support first time home buyers save down payment for their first home. And the key benefit of that is, any money you put into FHSA, that money is tax deductible, similar to RRSP, helping you reduce your taxable income. And looking at it, you can contribute $8,000 per year and your lifetime limit of $40,000. But the hook is you have to use this towards your down payment within 15 years. So moving on, let's talk about RRSP. Why it matters, and because RRSP helps reduce taxable income for high income earners, and the way I've figured out is most of the financial planners, they recommend putting money into RRSP if your gross income, pre-tax income is more than $50,000 a year. So what that does is it reduces your taxable income into the lower tax bracket, which helps all the money which you put into RRSP can grow tax free till you take it out. It's called tax deferred, right? And then, and as we earlier talked, it also strategically reduces our taxable income now and also minimizes tax paid in retirement, because on retirement would have lower income, which is why you can withdraw your money from RRSP then, and then any money you withdraw then, you would have to pay taxes on that income, because that becomes your taxable income. For RRSP, there's an annual limit on it, which is pretty much the lesser of your last year's income, or $32,490 for 2025. And any unused cap from previous years is carried forward. And then if you over contribute up to $2,000, there's no penalty. And then, as we talked earlier, contributions are tax deductible, but the growth is tax deferred. You do not save taxes on it. All you're doing is deferring your taxes till a future date when you withdraw that money out from this account. And then within RRSP, we also have this home buyers plan. But I recommend to all first-time home buyers, max out your FHSA as you can, and then maybe look into investing money into home buyers plan. So if you're a first-time home buyer, you can withdraw up to $60,000 per person. So if you're a couple, you can withdraw $120,000 to buy your first home. But the hook is you must repay back into RRSP over 15 years, starting year 2, of course. And then let's suppose if you're not able to pay it back, what happens is for that taxable year, that amount divided by 15, because it's, you have to pay it within 15 years, that number, that income is added to your taxable income for that assessment year. And then one key nuance is you have to be a first-time home buyer to take this benefit. And now moving on to tax-free savings account. So this, if we look at it, it is very deceiving name, because they call it as a tax-free saving account, but in a way, it is not a tax-free saving account, because all it does is it is to put your after-tax dollars. So what it does is you put your money in that with the money that you have already paid taxes on, and then all the growth and all the return on that money that you would have is then tax-free. And then it is, in most cases, it's ideal for people with lower income, I would say less than $50,000, because in that income, your income is already, I would say your tax bracket is already lower. And that is why, you would have, you can avail maximum benefits of TFSA. And if you're wanting to invest your money, park your money somewhere for short term, TFSA is the best solution. And then you're also someone, if you're already maxing out your RRSP every year, so you should still max out your TFSA as well, because what happens is any money you withdraw out of TFSA, if you withdraw money from your TFSA after retirement, it will not hurt you or hurt your eligibility for government income tested benefits or credits. And so TFSA was started in 2009. So if you were participating in this TFSA since 2009, your lifetime contribution into that account can be $102,000 till to 2025. And then just like RRSP, any unused contribution room from previous years accumulates and can be carried forward for future rules. And for 2025, the contribution limit was $7,000. And if you're maxing out everything else, I would recommend you should max out your TFSA as well, because any growth in this account is tax-free. And then it also gives you flexibility, as we talked earlier, because any money do you put in, it is without tax implications, providing great flexibility to investors. And any amounts withdrawn can also be put back into the limits for next year along continued growth. And then I won't go over the different investing platforms, but you can definitely invest in stocks, EFTs, bond, GICs, and some cryptocurrencies as well. But hey, do your own research in that. So at the end of this video, we'll just do a quick recap on what we discussed. If you have an employer who does RRSP matching, the first thing you should do is max out that, because you want to get the free money that your employer is putting in. But prior to investing, the first thing you should also look at is you should pay off any high interest rate debt, for example, credit card loans or personal line of credits, anything which is maybe 8% and above, you should try to pay it off. And then the number 2 is, always try to have some emergency fund available. I would recommend 3 to 6 months, you should have it readily available, in case you lose your job, or you have some unexpected expenses which you were not planning to do. So you should have that money handy. And then if you're a first time home buyer, you should look into maxing out your FHSA, and then any room left, maybe look into RRSP if you are a first time home buyer, to put money into max out your home buyer's plan. And then if you still have room left, then look into TFSA. But if you're not a first time home buyer, then you should look into a combination of RRSP and TFSA depending upon your financial situation. If you guys like this video, please do like and subscribe this channel. Till then, see you in the next video.